Welcome to my Fussy Baby Checklist. I am not a doctor or a specialist. I am a mother for providing my experience to new and anxious parents. First, I want to say congratulations on your upcoming new arrival. A lot of times it can be very overwhelming. The good news is that a majority of the time for most children, they're either hungry, dirty, or they need to be burped. Newborns eat every 2 to 3 hours. That's 8 to 12 times a day. You may feel like you're constantly taking care of them. In the womb, they're being constantly nourished by the umbilical cord. So those first few weeks of life are an adjustment both for you and the baby. But what about the rest of the time? If the baby's still fussy, what do I do? First answer is to remain calm, because while babies don't have any spoken language, they do understand when you are distressed. So remain calm and ask yourself, is my baby lonely? Is my baby tired? Or is my baby in pain? We'll get to colic in a minute, but I want to talk about the other three first. The solution to loneliness is simple enough. Put down any other work you have to do. Look your child in the eye for a few minutes and completely connect with them. Is my baby cranky tired? The only solution for this type of crankiness is sleep. If your child resists sleep, I would develop a bedtime routine incorporating a white noise maker. It doesn't have to be expensive. We just use a bedroom fan. This brings us to pain and discomfort. There are an infinite number of ways your baby could be in pain or uncomfortable. I won't be able to cover all of them, but hopefully I can give you some ideas. If I suspect my child is uncomfortable, I will first check their temperature. And I don't mean checking for a fever with a thermometer. I mean using my hand to check their hands and their toes and their foreheads to see if they feel hot or cold to the touch. I live in a very cold climate, so more often than not, they have gotten chilly, and it's never fun to be cold, so they let me know. It is also possible to overbundle your baby. So as cold as it is, you've put so many things on them that they're actually sweating inside their little cocoon. So when I put my hands on them, I'm checking for sweat, their body temperature, to see if they're comfortable. Which brings us to our next topic, rashes. Everyone knows to check for diaper rashes and heat rashes. Babies have so many little fat rolls and little folds in their skin. It's very easy for moisture to get trapped in those areas. Not just on their legs, but their arms and even under their chin. Especially if they're a drooly baby and they get that drool everywhere, they could quite easily develop a rash from that. Rashes hurt, but they do need to be cleaned. Avoid scrubbing too hard, but if it's a really bad rash, I'll put them in the bath. Allow it to dry and it usually clears it right up. Babies have such soft, sensitive skin, they could develop skin irritations just from the clothes that they wear. Again, I just use my hands and I would rub the clothes, and if the clothes scratch me, they're going to scratch the baby. One of my infants actually caught hives from a laundry detergent we were trying. It was hypoallergenic, but it just was the wrong brand for us. Also, if you're not careful where you Velcro their diapers, it could chafe their little tummies. After all of this, if my baby was still fussy, I would carefully check their fingers and toes. Sometimes a loose piece of hair can curl itself around your baby's fingers or toes because they're crawling around on the floor, or it just gets washed in the laundry, and however it gets down there, it gets curled around their toes and it can actually start squeezing their little fingers and toes. Whenever I change my baby's diaper, I always check their fingers and toes, and you can play a little game like this little piggy went to market and this little piggy had roast beef. It makes you realize what those little rhymes are for. You know, you're going through and checking all of their fingers and toes to make sure that they're not being constricted or cut by random loose bits of dust or dirt or hair. Which brings us to colic. On Wikipedia, it reads, colic is a form of pain that starts and stops abruptly. It occurs due to muscular contractions of a hollow tube, like the colon, gallbladder, and an attempt to relieve an obstruction by forcing content out. Baby colic, a condition usually in infants characterized by incessant crying. No parent wants to see their child in pain, especially when it seems like there's nothing you can do about it. One of the preventive measures I use is baby massage. I'll try and find the video where I learned it, but it's basically after bath time, I will massage my baby's skin. I call it a preventive measure because I don't wait for my children to have colic in order to do this. I just consider it part of bath time. If my newborn is acting as though they have indigestion, I will perform the crescent moon massage after their next diaper change. I will post a quick video in my description box describing how to do that. The second colic preventive I use is when I change my baby's diaper, I do not fold their toes up to their nose. I roll them side to side to get the diaper off. It has been suggested that folding the babies in half, putting their toes up to their nose, can contribute to colicky symptoms by pinching nerve roots. Again, I will put that video in the description box so that you can watch that for yourself. If my baby was still colicky after all of that, I would take my child in to see a chiropractor. Luckily, I haven't had to do that because all these other techniques have worked for me, and I hope they work for you as well. Not every chiropractor is created equal, but I've had some really good ones. I have a spinal fracture, but when you have your vertebrae out of line a little bit, it can pinch your central nervous system in excruciating ways, and it can influence the operation of your internal organs. I am lucky enough to have a chiropractor in my community who considers it part of her community service to see newborn infants for free to help prevent and treat colic symptoms. Which means if you ask around, it might not even cost you any money. The last thing to remember when dealing with a colicky baby is to never shake a baby. We all get cranky tired. It's okay to put the baby down and walk away for a few minutes to give yourself a break. Just to recap, the diaper changing habits that I've developed over the years as a mother of 4 is to first roll the baby. Don't fold their toes up to their nose when you're changing their diaper. Keep them clean and dry. Watch the placement of the Velcro and check their fingers and toes when I'm done. My bath time routine with my infants is to clean and dry them, a gentle skin massage, and check their digits as I dress them. The bedtime routine that's worked for me is to clean and dry them. Whether that's a bath or just a diaper change, I will change their clothes into fresh pajamas. I feed them, I turn the lights off, I turn the fan on, and after doing that every day since the day they were born, they get into the routine and the habit of it. My newborns sleep next to me in a bassinet. I don't shut them in a separate room. I've breastfed all of my children, and I know I'm going to be up in the middle of the night feeding them, so I don't go off into another room. I do that right in my room. These are just the routines that have worked for me in my home. You're allowed to set the tone and the pace in your own house. I salute you on your journey as you seek for the solutions that will work for you.